Thank you very much for having me here. You all right? Good to be here. I'm the half-blind one. Good to be here. Proud to be here, of course. And nice to... I haven't done anything I was proud of till... Well, a couple of years ago, I went to Bristol for a day and I helped push a statue of some bastard in the river. It was only when he resurfaced in a sea of silver paint and Spanish expletives I realised, whoops, street performer. Arguably, he still did the right thing. It's nice to be. I had a very weird lockdown, as I know we all did, but I was ill, and I lost half of my eyesight on the right-hand side. Right, you lot needn't have shown up. I've got a condition called homonymous hemianopia. This is where you're half blind in both eyes. So I went to an optician's. I said, "Is this going to get any worse?" He said, "It would look like it. This is a butcher's." Come on. Get involved. I'm wearing glasses. You see I'm wearing glasses, and I don't know if you can see this at the back. You see it at the front, the back. Probably, this is the darkest tint you can go before you're Bono in it on stage. And because of my illness, I'm keen to avoid the lights. Right? Bono's got glaucoma, so he's keen to avoid tax. Careful. So there we go. And half-blind, they gave me a white stick as well, which I'm too vain to use, I'll be honest with you. And I'm not so blind that I kind of walk straight into stuff, but it's really the white stick is so... people avoid me. They know how to sort of stay out of my way, a bit like L-plates or a South African accent. No. Any South Africans in? Good. Lest we forget. Now, I had a stroke. That's what happened, since you ask. Now, before I launch into this, don't worry, this bit ends well. Thank you very much. Thank you. I don't know how much. Thank you. I don't know how much you know about stroke. Hopefully nothing, of course. It can alter a few things. It can alter your eyesight. That's what it did to me. As I said, it can alter the way your face looks. It can alter your speech patterns. I'm actually Nigerian. Oh, God. If I'd known it was this easy being white, I'd have done it sooner. Now, I'm fully aware there's a few people in here going, is he? Kenyan. Now, you look at me and go, has he had a stroke? He doesn't look strokey enough. What you fail to appreciate is that I'm 23. I'm not going to make it up. I'm going to make up a medical condition just so I can get away with some shady stuff, right? I'm not Prince Andrew. Now, I've had 2 strokes, actually, since you mentioned it, and the second stroke was much worse. I realised what was happening, and I remember thinking, not again, I can't take... Please, God, I can't do this again. I felt pretty much the same way when Jumanji 2 came out. And they put me on a stroke ward, and I was surrounded by other men, grown men, crying into the night. It's quite difficult to take, right? And it's difficult to hear it. You see an adult cry, and it's difficult, right? You see a child cry, and you think... Little prick, probably got the wrong sweets. You see an adult cry, and it's just difficult to... I got assigned an occupational therapist, and she said, right, well, you're going to need to avoid bright lights, alcohol, and stress. What do you do for a living? I'm a comedian. She went, "I'll tell us a joke." I went, "Not now." And she went, "Well, you're going to get anxious, paranoid, and depressed." I thought, fuck, she's seen my act. She says, "I can see what you're doing here. I know what you're doing here, but you know, you need to talk about it. You need to discuss it. Men don't want to talk about their feelings. You know, and it's important that you do. You know, suicide, biggest killer in men under 45. 2 times more men kill themselves than women, although 3 times more women attempt it," she said. To which I said, suggesting, if you want something done... 2 claps isn't really enough to justify that, don't you? She said, "Was that a joke?" I said, "You did ask for one." No. I said, "I've been willing myself to talk about it, right? Because we don't want... I mean, because this thing, you don't drown by falling in... Was it Confucius who said you don't drown by falling in the river, you drown by not getting out of it, right? Actually, I think that was Jackie Chan in Kung Fu Panda, right? But the point remains the same, right? Because we're not very good at discussing our feelings, not very good at discussing our emotions and all that sort of stuff. You meet Americans, and they're very good at... Are there any Americans in? Yeah, right, you meet a British person, right? We're a bit reserved, aren't we? Right? You meet an American, they'll be like, "Hi, Todd from Montana, got 3 ex-wives, 2 hernias and 1 ball." You're like, "Nobody fucking asked, mate." "How are you doing today, sir?" "Well, I am British. And I should be divulging my personal information on a need-to-know basis over the next 20 to 25 years. Talking of personal information, I went to get a cup of coffee recently, and you know they ask you your name when you walk in, and it was quite a young barista. And she says, "What's your name?" Because they write it on the cup, right? And I said, "Well, it's Marcus with a K." And she went, "Well, it can't be, can it?" I went, "It is." And she went, "It can't be." I went, "It is." And she went, "It can't be." Anyway, she wrote it, and I got a cup and said, "Carcass." That was about 2 weeks before my stroke, so she was clearly clairvoyant, and I had completely misrepresented her. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for having me. I've been Marcus Berman. Cheers. Thank you.